Good morning. In fact, it's Good Monday morning. I hope you all had a refreshing, relaxing weekend and are ready to take on all the opportunities for this week. Are you ready? Maybe not, right? Not there yet. Well, let's get started. And we're going to start with having a little bit of coffee. And then we're going to look at today's devotion. My name is Wes Henson. I'm the interim pastor at the First Baptist Church of Cutler. And this week we are getting ready to tackle a brand new 6-week topic in our weekly adult Bible study at the First Baptist Church of Cutler. And the title of the 6-week study is called Navigating Family Conflict. And you'll notice that in the name of the study, it is not talking about avoiding family conflict or denying family conflict or fleeing from family conflict or blaming someone about the family conflict or even repeating family conflict. The title is Navigating Family Conflict, getting us through those inevitable conflicts that arise in our families. So in this study, we're going to look at 6 different families from the Old Testament in the book of Genesis, and we're going to gather some insights on how we can work our way through conflict rather than avoiding it or denying it or fleeing from it or blaming because of it or repeating it. So that's our study for this Sunday. God, and here's the overall thesis, if you will, the overall statement of the study, and it's this: that God made our families. God made our families, and God cares about our families even more than we do. And God is committed to guiding us by the Holy Spirit to love our family members as much as we love ourselves. And if you go ahead and check the description, the show notes, depending on what medium you're watching this on, if you check the description, you'll find a link to a 60-second video overview of these 6 sessions. So I invite you to take a look at that in just a few moments. Okay, let's get started on today's devotion, right? It's Monday, so we got to get going. So our devotion is titled Working Through the Curse. And so let me just kind of lay it out for you, if I may. God expects our best. Okay, I'm just going to put that out there. God expects our best regardless of the circumstances surrounding the task, even a curse. Regardless of what's going on and regardless of what we have to deal with in our life and regardless of what you may be dealing with today, God still expects our best. So here's our background. So after Adam and Eve's disobedience in the Garden of Eden, God, part of the consequences of that, God cursed the ground and declared in Genesis 3:17 that it would be through painful labor that you'll eat from the ground. So previous to this, man, the crops grew and there were no weeds, there was no fungi, there were no diseases that would get to the plants, and everything was just hunky-dory. But if you go and plant something today, you go out in the garden and you got your tomatoes and you got your cucumbers and green beans or whatever's out there, you find more times than not that the weeds grow faster than the plants. And you can say, thank you, Adam, thank you, Eve, for all that. So Adam and Eve, they had 2 children at this time, and they had Cain and Abel. And Cain was the oldest son, and he was the one that was responsible for working the ground that had been cursed. And like Cain, sometimes we find ourselves responsible for tasks that require extra effort. It was, different than when Adam was taking care of it. And so we have to continue, even though the situation and the circumstances are difficult, we must be careful to continue to give God our best. And so here's where Cain stumbled. And our lesson this week in our small groups and our adult Bible study is from Genesis chapter 4, verses 1 through 12. And it'll show us more of this. But here's where Cain stumbled. Here was his situation. He worked the land. He did a good job. He was very responsible. But when it was time to give God an offering, all right, which is an act of worship, we really can't worship unless we bring something as an offering to the Lord. Cain failed to give God his best. He gave him what he had, but not his best. And as followers of Jesus, we are to complete whatever task that God assigns to us, whatever purpose is ours, by giving our all and giving our best. Our verse today in our devotion is from Genesis chapter 3, verse 17, and picking up on what God said to Adam. He said, "The ground is cursed because of you, and all your life you will struggle to scratch a living from it." Today you may be struggling. You may be scratching to make a living, getting by, going forward. But know this, that God still expects our best. So think about the best that you can give to God today. All right, that's our devotion for this Monday morning. I hope it turns out great. Take another sip of coffee and maybe a couple more sips and get up, get going, and get ready. Monday's here. Bye for now. I'll see you again soon.